No?
Twitch is trying to take you down.
Yep.
Again.
Yep.
You said naughty words.
It should be back. Yep. Okay. Writing the 20,000 times and deleting it does not count as writing sign. Oof. 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 Oof.
Alright, let's stop dunking on sign.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Let's start
It's
nuking
so
him.
easy.
So when can we start punching his children?
God damn it.
How
Hey, Sneaky. They're still minors. We have to wait for them to be, you know...
Don't worry, they're guaranteed to hit 18 eventually.
You can dropkick them in self-defense.
Are you really Hazel Childbeater?
Yes, I am in fact Hazel, a child beater. And here he comes in the steel chair!
I mean, listen, if you listen to the community, Hazel's a child something else, too.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Oh,
That's why we don't listen to the community.
Yeah. The community is stupid.
Oh, speaking of stupid communities, did you guys also hear recently, I actually sent Max this, is that not only was the Google Gemini AI racist, it was also pro-pedophilia.
Oh yeah, I saw that in another server.
Yeah.
That's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So that
you're
is
surprised.
Wow.
something else, let me tell you. That is something else.
Given where Google is based and who works there,
I
I'm
know.
not surprised.
So anyway, Gamer OC! Self-insert. A young man is given a mission and left to fend for himself, but things will not be easy!
No.
Well,
not easy at all.
So first off, I really hate this whole, like, oh, but it won't be easy doing this. It's like, A, if it was easy, it wouldn't be a fucking story, so putting that in your summary line is, like, really, really stupid. It's really just stupid. Second off, Remnant isn't chaotic. Remnant has 4 nations that are isolated, at peace, and don't have any military-based scuffles at all since the last war, where they all demilitarized, except for Atlas.
Because of the Grim.
So, it's not a chaotic world at all. It's like the opposite of chaotic.
It's stagnant.
It's a very stagnant world. Yeah, exactly. Like nothing happened. Like
It's
people
somehow more stagnant than Warhammer 40k 7th edition.
Literally, though, but like that's the thing. Though, is like quite literally, it's like, oh, they throw out lines like how towns, just whole towns, get fucking overrun by Grim multiple times a month, and this is just a normal thing, and no one makes a big deal about it, and it affects nothing. And more towns.
That's because it's a death world, and all of this shit is so common that everybody in world is used to it.
Right.
It's a Tuesday, man.
But my point is that it's not chaotic. It's like, oh, hey, a couple more towns gotta run. Oh, okay. And then just go back to eating.
That's a shame.
It sucks. Oh well. Was that anyone we
Go
knew?
fish.
No. Okay. Yeah, it's just like, it's not chaotic at all. It's not like this, like, oh, you know, the Grim are constantly assaulting the walls, and it's a fight to live every second of the day, and, you know, the clash between Atlas and Vacuo is ongoing, and it's a chaotic world. It's like, no, it's not a chaotic world at all. It's an extremely stagnant world where everything is shit, nothing changes.
It is very predictable for a death world.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I hate the fandom and how they portray Ruby as this, like, oh, it's a world of bloody evolution and chaos where things are constantly changing. It's like nothing fucking changes. Beacon fell and nothing fucking changed.
No. There wasn't an increasing Grim attack or anything. I don't think.
Literally.
Not until I started personally making new Grim.
There were Grim. There was an increase in Grim on the Sky Island that Beacon was on, but that's really the only thing of a actual note.
Yeah. Well, no, that wasn't even Beacon. That was Amity Park.
No, Beacon got it too.
Yeah, but
'Cause they were
Beacon's on a
talking about
cliff.
how, like, they're
An
Beacon,
island.
Beacon's not a sky
Oh,
island.
sorry.
Beacon's a cliff.
Sorry, but the area of Beacon
Oh yeah,
was
yeah,
taken up by the Grim.
yeah, yeah.
They did mention that
There
at
were
some point. Like, yo,
some.
where's Glinda? Oh, she's on her patrol trying to clear out Grim. It's like,
Yeah. So
I
it's
don't
like,
got
but it's like the entire fucking city had a temporary invasion of Grimm 3 times in the series, and nothing changed.
It did not matter.
No.
It's not like it was a fucking chaos invasion. It was just like, oh, they did this.
Like, they had a whole fucking moment where Grimm poured out of a previously closed up subway, and did the city respond by increasing the amount of huntsmen that are being kept in reserve and patrolling and trying to hunt down the criminals, like trying to really clean up the criminal aspect to get as much dust back as possible to man the walls. Did they crack down even harder? No, they did nothing. Nothing changed.
actually, so the official manga, I decided to read into that because it's on the Shonen Jump app. They handled that super well. You know what they did? They're like, yeah, you know what Osmond is, or Oobleck disappeared for a few minutes. Yeah, he was calling ahead, so they were able to evacuate that section of the city.
Oh, okay.
So when the Grim popped out, and Rome's like, "Don't worry, our plan's still going off," it's like, why don't I hear screaming? Why are there no civilians?
Oh, they've been evacuated. Damn.
Yeah. The manga actually addressed it in the best way it could, which is Oobleck's not stupid.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is that there's so many fucking characters that have to hold the stupid ball so Team Ruby can seem cool and awesome, and it's just like, you don't need that. Like, and this is where Monty failed quite a bit, is that Monty didn't really understand how, because like his inspiration was shit like fucking Dragon Ball and Naruto, and other shonens. And he wanted to do this whole monster a day thing where they have one big fight per episode, whether it was a sparring match or they're fighting Grimm or something. He wanted to have one big fight per episode, and it didn't fucking happen because he took inspiration from a bunch of shows that have massive escalation issues.
Well, he also didn't just stick to that. Like, we got to Volume 3.
Yeah, I know.
We know that what we had written for Volume 3, even though he passed away halfway through development, we knew that he wanted a bigger overarching plot, and that doesn't really work when the Monster a Week formula wasn't even hashed out properly.
And yeah, and not only that, it's they're fucking kids still. It's not like they graduated from school and now we can do these like big complex plots where they have to go across the world and fight, various groups and people and monsters and shit. Like, the problem is if you have kids going to a school, they have to be in the school and do things around the school. They can't go out and do shit, which means you have to have all of the plots and the big overarching shit occur at the school. Because if you just have every single fucking mission these kids go on, they just happen to collide with the bad guys. They just happen to collide with the bad guys on missions spanning the entire continent every single time.
That school kids have to fix.
Yeah, that for some reason the school kids have to fix these problems every single time, and like that's the problem when you have kids going to a school, and it's one thing if like the kids are going to a school and it's like, oh, secretly the kids have magic and they're secretly crime fighting badasses who fight the demons of the night and go to school during the day, a la Sailor Moon, right? And it's like, well, yeah, obviously the adults could never help.
Animorphs, yeah.
But-
We had plenty of stuff growing up that happened, like you said, Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Book series like Animorphs. there were a few Western series where the kids had to keep their identity secret, like
Mhm.
Code
American
Lyoko.
Dragon Jake Long.
Yeah.
Originally was pretty good. Code Lyoko was another good one, and also was one of the few series that made effective use of time travel Deus Ex Machina.
Not only
And
that,
they had to unlock. They had to unlock it.
not only that, there was that one amazing moment where they finally got. The best part is the gym teacher was literally from America. And that was the best fucking part of it all. He fucking instructor Jim.
Yeah, good old
That
Jim.
time
I
travel
think my
part also
favorite part
became
was
a
the part where
crutch,
Jim
too.
fucking squared up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they
Yeah.
finally included Jim in their issue. And he's like, alright, don't worry, kids. I got your back. And fucking squared up against the monster. And it's like,
Yeah.
damn!
It's like,
He's a
fuck.
mess.
If only every teacher gave this much of a shit.
Well, you also have to
I
keep in mind that Jim is built like a brick shithouse.
Oh yeah, he is.
Jim was great.
Jim was built like the good old boys.
He's fucking throwing down with this laser monster with the Frankenstein bear too as well. And it's just like, okay, yeah, Jim's got it, guys. We can go fight the bad guy.
I will say one thing they did well, like Max, you were about the whole Deus Ex Machina time travel thing.
Yeah.
I did like how it progressed to that time travel was actually a detriment eventually, where they had to choose their time travel back and forth. Xana would get stronger.
Xana eventually figured it out. And he was
Yeah.
able to.
Mhm.
Yeah, then he was able to start abusing it, and like that
And
was
then we
ano-
had season 7.
Well, yes, but we don't talk about that. But like that was another cool part about Code Lyoko is that with the introduction of time travel, they could actually make the situations escalate wildly to become extremely dangerous. Because
I'm
could
pretty sure
just
there
have-
were moments that they implied some of the kids died off screen. In
oh,
fact.
I'm pretty sure
Oh,
Jim
no,
died.
there
there was
was-
a lot
there
of
was-
times.
there-
Yeah, Jim got electrocuted.
No, I mean like
in
their
water
fellow
once.
students, and then straight up there was one where like one of the main team did die,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, we can't fuck up this time travel. We have to do this because they're dead otherwise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It escalated, and it was great.
You could escalate so much harder with time travel being available, and it was good time travel too. It wasn't like the bullshit of like, oh well, we go back in time and we then mess with things. No, it was real time travel where time gets fully rewound and only the people inside the tubes and the facility that caused the time travel remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the cheating AI.
Oh,
Well, I said inside the facility, which the AI was also in.
Oh, yeah, I guess it was technically inside the facility.
Actually, no, I think Xana wasn't able to really recall the time travel. Like it took a bit for him to figure out. Wait, hang on a second.
No, he was no. What
Like
it was Xana was getting stronger each time they traveled back in time, or some
Yeah.
shit. I forget
Yeah.
what it was, and then eventually Xana did become cognizant and knew how to force time travel on them.
Mm-hmm.
It eventually got to the point where the group realized Xana was getting stronger, and they're like, "Fuck, we can't keep going back. We have to pick and choose now."
Yeah, because previously
Like,
they were playing really fast and loose previously, where they're like, "Oh, it's okay if this monster rampages. We just have to finish it before the day is up." Which would, because the time travel only works for like 24 hours or some shit, and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that was a big plot point. Was there was a limit, and it was actually a pretty like decent size limit. Which begs the question why Xena didn't just have his creations hold for 24 hours and didn't start like fucking up and hide. I don't remember that ever happening.
What it was is that it was basically a race because early on Xana didn't really know what to do, so he was kind of it was just kind of lashing out. And then Jeremy completed his tower detection program that was basically pinging every single tower all the time, and if anything ever got corrupted, he would instantly know, or well, quickly know. So and then at that point, Xana could no longer actually cause things to happen, because the original stuff that Xana could cause to happen was like possesses a toaster and it starts like sparking in flames and floats around or some shit. And it was only way later when possessions started happening, and then even way later after that where he'd start manifesting monsters and shit. And that's way after that Jeremy learned how to detect tower corruption. So even if he held back, he would be defeated earlier. So it was kind of a you've alerted the horde moment where you trigger the alarm and then you basically have to rush to complete your objective.
Right.
Then Xena got even creative and started making its own towers and own worlds, if I remember correctly.
It wasn't its own towers. It managed to hack its way into the core coding mainframe, which is a separate world, effectively.
Ah.
And then that introduced a new leap because they had to start using the towers as a travel device to get into the inner world. So they first had to find a tower, so then Xana would place a bunch of troops everywhere to prevent them from getting to the tower in the first place to get to the inner world. And then they figured out a way to teleport directly into the inner world after they managed to get Alita close enough to the mainframe computer that allowed her to enable instant admin teleportation. And then once they started doing that,
and then they figured out Alita was a real girl, and
well,
Jeremy was like, I need to get that.
Well, hold on. Jeremy was crushing on the AI back when it was just an AI, not an actual girl.
Yeah.
That's true. Jeremy was all set for the 2D wife.
Jeremy was out here being toaster fucker prime before toaster fucking was toaster fucking. But after they figured out how to teleport into the inner world, Xana started putting it in the inner world firewall or whatever, basically where they go through all these fucking mazes now, instead of just having towers in the inner world, where they had to, like, fucking basically do puzzles to get to the towers.
I will force you to play my puzzles, you monster.
I remember my reaction when I think the dude's name was William.
Yeah.
The new guy?
Yeah.
Was that his name?
This is his name, yeah.
He showed up, and I remember that they're like, just stay close to us, don't go off on your own, don't Leroy Jenkins this, to use more
Leroy Jenkins it.
And then he does it, and I remember thinking as a kid, like, he deserved that.
Yo, everyone was like, fuck that guy, he deserved that.
It's like, great, you just handed yourself over to the one thing that wants all of humanity gone.
And then then he gets hijacked, and then he goes back in time hijacked because apparently Xana possessions on the main cast, if they happen, travel through time. And then he was like secretly working against them all, and then the whole thing gets revealed, and then they're like, they free him, but they're like, actually, but William, fuck you still anyway, because your dumbass, deadass almost got us fucked beyond belief, because you wouldn't fucking listen, so be gone, thought.
And then he decided to start worshipping the evil AI.
Yeah.
Credit to the writers, too, because they were setting him up to be like a fucking Gary Stu.
They were, yeah.
Because don't forget, it's also like, wow, the weapon randomly assigned to you is absurdly strong.
Also, he was like a better weapons guy than the Katana Boy, and he had a thrown weapon that was better than the Cat Boy. Oh shit, I'm just starting to fucking.
No, it was better than the fan.
Yeah.
Fan girl. Was it Izumi?
Yeah, Izumi, yeah. Also, now I'm fucking sitting here, I'm like, god damn it, they had fucking cat boys and weebs.
You leave Odd alone? He's a good
Odd
boy.
is a good noodle, I will admit, but that doesn't change the fact that he's a fucking cat boy.
To be fair, he did not choose to be a cat boy.
No, he didn't, but it was funny, everyone's reactions to it. Oh yeah, back then they could only fucking power up one tube at a time, so they could only send one person in at first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Alright, who's taking the mission? Well, I'm the only one not currently in a life or death situation, so I'll do it.
Also, congratulations guys! I got it! What do you mean, Jeremy? I figured out! I coded you guys mounts! The fucking omnicycle and the floating cloud and the skateboard.
See, if it was realistic, he should have tried to ride the motorcycle, drift the motorcycle, jump the motorcycle, order -1 motorcycle, and then all of a sudden one of them tries to turn it on and it just explodes. Average programming experience.
Good times. Yeah, honestly, that show was great. That show was great. It was good shit. I wish they would actually explain the supernatural shit. Like, they never actually explained why Xana possessing a toaster would allow it flight.
Don't think about it.
I wish they did explain that part. That's the one part I wish they did explain finally. Like, I don't care how many seasons it would take. I just wish they would explain how the fuck Xana possessing these info nodes inside of the digital world allowed him to manifest supernatural powers in reality.
Something electro waves.
I'm sure, but
that actually would have been enough. That actually would have been enough.
Magnets and shit.
You know, credit to Odd as well. He was always ready to just get into the thick of it. Like, oh, we need someone to strike the monster. I got it.
Oh,
you
shit.
need someone to just hop in there? Yeah, I got it.
They're remaking Age of Mythology.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
That's either going to be really good for you fans or really bad.
It's not just an upscale either. They already did the upscale. They're doing a remake of it. So, like, better engine, better scripting, better graphics, new models.
So hopefully it's very good for you fellas.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, they did a pretty good job on the previous remakes, so... Evolution is the sequel set 1 year... No, isn't that the fucking live action? Evolution?
It's live action.
Yeah, it was so fucking bad.
Man, I was so excited when it's like, oh shit, new Code Lyoko, and then we got
also,
screenshots.
No!
Like, what do you mean it's live action?
This fucking part of it, Xana somehow returned.
They did not.
Yes,
they did not do this somehow before.
They literally did.
They
somehow reappears.
You know what? Is this a self-report from the writer for episode 8? Like, is this where he got the idea from?
He can't even be original in that. Yeah.
He took it from a live-action French show.
I'm looking at this and wow, this just looks so awful.
Oh yeah,
they did the characters dirty.
Fucking that's right. Yeah, Laura. Yeah, unreliable girl genius. The fucking Gage before Gage was a thing. Little Miss Tinker in the last season of Code Lyoko, the fucking Tinker girl.
Gage from Borderlands.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
I don't think I remember Gage.
Well, no, Gage is from Borderlands. Yeah, Gage is from...
I know. I don't remember Gage from Borderlands. Was she the Necromancer?
Yeah, she was the Necromancer. Yeah.
Yes.
Red Twin Trials.
Yeah, the robot girl. Yeah. But yeah, they fucking... I totally forgot about the Tinker girl in the later episodes.
The girl who made an anti-bullying robot whose anti-bullying robot killed her bully.
Which was
I
great.
mean, technically,
I love that.
No
Joined
bullying.
by William, who has finally been accepted as the sixth
Finally been accepted, yeah.
You really think he's... No, he'll never be accepted after the stunt he fucking pulled.
No, he was accepted. It's fine.
No, fuck that.
Also, another thing you have to give Code Lyoko credit for where it's due is they actually did say at one point, we gotta shut it down. Like, it's getting too dangerous. We are playing with fire at this point. We cannot fuck up the world because we're trying to save one person. We have to shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't it go from like, all right, we got Alita out, and then it's like, wait, shit, what do you mean her dad's data's still in there, right?
Also, yeah, she started getting like sick and shit, and she was having issues, and then they're like, oh shit, we have to put her back in, and we have to turn it all back on. Because, like, there was something wrong with her.
Yeah.
But, get credit where it's due. They actually had the heroes be like, okay, enough. This stops here. We're shutting it down.
And then, in fairness, Xana was like, Lamau, you thought you could stop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I had a backup switch.
The replicas.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
After stealing the keys, yeah.
They got pretty creative with some of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was it was genuinely creative. It was implemented well. It was just really good. It was just a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
surprisingly.
looks like garbage, though. The animation looks awful.
Well, yes, but they got away with that though because the entire digital world they made like the really old CG style, and it was supposed to be like this really. It was literally excused as like this rudimentary format. So like they literally excused their own 3D animation quality by in-game means.
Even though the animation quality was pretty decent for its time.
For its time, it was pretty freaking good.
Honestly, I'd argue that like it aged okay. It doesn't look awful.
Honestly, so back in college, which I'm aware is like 8 years ago, but back in college.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, I got it lying around on my hard drive somewhere after the
They're
like, oh, we made an official channel, and just dropped everything onto YouTube.
They had it on Netflix and YouTube and a whole bunch of other places. So we actually sat down in senior year of college. No, junior year of college. In my junior year of college, me and my roommates actually sat down. We just watched the entirety of Code Lyoko, and we were just like, "Wow, such a good show." Even all these years later, so it wasn't nostalgia because we all were like, "Yeah, this is still a good show."
Mm-hmm.
But let's see how bad this one is. Cringe. You viscous lime. Who the hell names their fucking son Viscous Lime?
Wait.
I'm not very happy.
That's a hell of a
Is this how the story starts?
Yeah, this is how this story starts. You Viscous Lime have been picked to solve a millennia-old dilemma. Due to gaining access to the gamer system, you'll be given 3 traits to assist you on your mission. The blonde, Viscous Lime, had no comment.
I'm gonna need to have some words with mom and dad.
Who the fuck names their son Viscous Lime? According to calculations, you've been granted Creator's Blessing, Mana Touched, and Desperation. Wow, this seems like a massive fucking downgrade the longer you go. Creator's Blessing.
Should have named it Vicious, but misspelled it.
Oh, that's a fair point.
Honestly, this kid's absolutely getting bullied and called slime.
Yeah, I probably would have called him Slime, not even in like a bullying way, but just as like that's what I remembered his name as way.
Yeah. And eventually he'd just give up on correcting people and he's like, yeah, I'm slime now.
According to the blonde, he didn't want what the system decided he wanted. But his opinion would not change. I'm sorry. You get hijacked by a system. Yeah, you're being like held in place, and the system's like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you all these powers. Here's your mission." I'd be like, "Fucking finally, I got something to do in my life."
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Also, you've been granted Creator's Bless. Like, you're starting off pretty strong there, buddy.
Yeah, it's like holy shit. Honestly, I wouldn't even need to be granted Creator's Blessing. It's just like, hey, you've been selected. You gotta go fight this like millennia-old thing. You gotta fix it, solve the world, save the world, all that shit. By the way, you got magic now. I would just be like, holy shit, I don't even care if I die. Let's go.
Magic.
It's like, yeah. Do I have a time limit? Because I'd like to enjoy this.
Right. Viscous.
So I only have to kill them. Nobody else has to survive, right?
I cast Meteor.
No, I am atomic.
That's up. No, come on, no. Madara has a great fucking line of "Congratulations, you've destroyed the first meteor." But what about
What
the
do you
second?
do for the second?
And it's a bigger meteor behind it.
Yeah,
And then
no,
there's just before that,
Wait.
he just threw hands. He didn't use a single jutsu.
Oh, I know.
He just went running in and destroyed an army with just pure hands. It was great.
Yeah. Caught those
Madara
hands.
is him. He is what everyone wants to be.
Madara is him.
Madara's full introduction into the Fourth War was super well done.
It's one of the greatest of all time, I'd say.
It was really good. Fucking just 1v5s. This is unfair for you. Here, I'll make it easier. I won't use any jutsu.
Actually, I think it didn't start with like, here, let's gauge this. I'll give each of you a shadow clone.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he gave each of them a shadow clone.
That was against the five Tiger. Yeah.
Okay, now we can fight hand to hand. Okay, have a meteor.
Have a double meteor.
Here's my power of hard work. Literally coats the entirety of Australia in flames.
Listen, that's not proof.
He did work pretty hard to get that level of power.
Yeah. Viscous
I like that literally
did not
everyone except Naruto had some level of hard work in their power abilities.
Yeah, I know, right? Viscous did not care about the millennia-old dilemma, no matter how much it tried to convince him to do it. Suddenly, he had a headache in his skull with knowledge of what these traits did, kicking off his train of thought. I don't care about the millennia-old dilemma. I don't care about saving the world. Average leftist. Each one of them did something different, but all of them sped up his ability progression in some way. Creator's Blessing sped up crafting, Mana Touch sped up using mana, and Desperation encompassed what the former did, what the other two didn't. So you literally just got a times multiplier on all of your gamer skills, and you're sitting here bitching?
Yes.
Yep.
You, Viscous Lime, will be sent to the world of Remnant. Your job is to end the carnage and war. Bro.
Oh, he's green jello.
Man.
Yep. Yes.
Bro.
Yeah. This guy's the kind of person that listens to the song, you can't always get what you want, and the meaning just goes completely over his head.
You can't always get what you want. That means I can get whatever I want, right?
Yeah. Well, the follow-up, do you know the follow-up lyrics?
If you try sometimes, you get what you need.
If you try sometimes, you'll find you get what you need.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't think of anything I might need more than free skills to double my skill gain.
Yeah.
Just give me the base mana, man. Let me do magic. That's all I need.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm gonna fucking munchkin the shit out of magic if I ever got it.
Probably have a nuke worked out inside of 6 months.
Exactly. Actually, I have been circling this magic circle the entire time I've been existing on your planet. If I stop, I have no idea what's going to happen, but there's a lot of fucking magic packed into this. Do you want to see what happens?
Oh, you know what? I would love to see Magician only knows one thing, which is just storing kinetic energy into an object of his choice. He's been traveling the world for 5 years, just like bouncing the box up and bouncing a cube up and down off the earth.
Or fucking spinning a fucking little ball bearing in his hands or something.
Yeah, just always spinning. It's like, all right, final boss, hold this.
He figured out that the Earth moves, and he's touching the Earth, so he can just siphon a little bit off at a time, and it's fine.
Yeah, it's like I've been gathering kinetic energy for 5 years. Okay, from the Earth. I don't know what that means. Hold this.
Earth moves in space. Hold this.
Actually, that would be fucking amazing. Of like, it doesn't even have to be magic. It'd just be like your magic stand and your chi, your key, whatever. Magic. It's all about kinetic redirection, and all you do is when you stand on the earth, you're storing up kinetic energy, and when you stop standing on the earth, you can use the kinetic energy, and so your entire fighting style is like flying drop kicks and shit. And like
or the Ranma anything goes in the air, how he says in the air.
Right, exactly. You're just like every single punch of yours contains the equivalent of 10 seconds of the Earth rotating or something.
Given how
This is so much better than Boruto's special planetary Rasengan, which was stupid.
Yes, very much so.
Well,
and like, yeah,
you know
was
what
really dumb.
Oh, you don't know you don't know what the planetary Rasengan is.
That is.
Okay,
no.
So Boruto was like, I figured out how to make use of the planet's rotation when making a Rasengan. Okay, what does that mean? When I touch someone with it, it fucks up their balance, and that's it. It's like, what?
That's fucking it?
Oh, and here's the thing. Here's the best part. It can be deactivated by either A, him turning it off, because it's perpetual, because now your sense of balance is now tied to the planet's rotation, or B, the planet stops rotating. It's like, what do you do if you tap someone who's totally fine with blowing up the planet, then, Boruto? Because there are plenty of planet busters in that world.
There are lots of them.
But he says it, he explains to the enemy, if the planet stops rotating, it will deactivate. It's like, what if you had said that to, I don't know, Madara?
Yeah, right? But also, it's like, so yeah, this sort of character would have, like, it'd be Ranma-style fighting mixed with, like, Accelerator. In terms of power
more like
set.
Saitama.
No,
think about it.
No. Saitama just punches things and they explode. I mean, style of fighting, as in, Ranma's doing all these, like, kicks and flips and, like, various
and
things.
basically using
Accelerator,
basically bouncing off the opponent's body.
Force redirection, yeah. Yeah, and because specifically the person can't, like, store up 5 years worth of energy, they basically can skim off the top a couple seconds and then blast forward. And, like, all of their moves revolve around energy redirection. And so it would be more like a really cool badass moment where, yeah, their super move is shaving some off the top of the planet's rotation and being like, all right, now it's Saitama time.
I was talking about, like, they can imbue it into objects. You took it to another fun idea. Like, I can imbue it into myself and only myself.
Yeah, just like, all right, let's go.
Imbue yourself in objects. You can throw shit, or you could just throw hands.
Hey, listen. Theoretically, you can still throw hands. You're just hiding what's in the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so you can even have stages of development here, right? So he first learns how to imbue it into an object and throws the object because, otherwise the blowback is too much for his body and, like, he hurts himself if he does it normally, by imbuing into himself to punch and kick things. And then he learns how to redirect the force blowback on his attacks to basically negate the blowback on himself and increase his attack power, which means he can now do melee combat. And then his final stage is super move Saitama style of, I'm about to go all out serious mode. Planet rotationary power, let's go.
I'm hitting you with the force of the Earth moving through space. Oh, but the Earth is big and it's moving fast. Yes.
I believe you've discovered how fucked you are, sir.
Yeah, I'm now currently moving miles an hour. But yeah, no, exactly that. Like, you could actually there's stages there you could totally use. It's an absolute main character power set.
Osman goes, you can use this to defeat Salem. Why would I defeat her? She ain't doing anything. She's just chilling there.
Punches Salem into the sun.
Why would I defeat her when I can wife her?
The only one who would do that is you, son.
Yes.
Only you would go for someone younger than you.
But no, honestly, I think that'd make for a good original story. you know, throw it up as like a backdrop of your typical mage martial arts school. You know, some people use spells, some people use martial arts with chi or shit or whatever. You know,
some kind of fighting world thing.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of DBZ. No, not DBZ.
Yeah, of course, obviously you have to have.
Ganja.
Yeah, you have to you have to also have it so that no one thinks the main character obviously is going to go very far with this whole like force redirection thing, because it's either like too hard or one mistake will kill you, or you know,
or his limit is, or they think his limit is too low, but he can only use but they don't realize he can use the rotation of the Earth, like.
Yeah, like people just haven't thought about how to apply it before, and it's like, yeah, exactly. There's got to be a reason why other people aren't doing what he's doing. But no, I think that would make a pretty decent basis for a generic shonen story. But yeah, fuck this viscous lemon guy. Oh, you died, and now the system wants to give you superpowers so you can go save another planet, and you're like, I don't like that. I don't want to save other planets. Fuck people. I hope everyone dies. I'm viscous lemon.
Well, green jello can fuck right off.
Beyond destiny! Fate is twisted. Two eras, so different yet similar, each walked by people who don't belong in them. Who can truly stand tall for a doomed world locked in their dwindling timer? The young man bathed in darkness, or the woman forging his path centuries before. Vermilion merely wants to find his way home, but she knows the truth. He is where he needs to be, where he's been ordained to be. Okay, so Fate's not twisted then. If he is supposed to be in going back in time to fight in a older era,
he's exactly where he's supposed to be.
Then he's exactly where he's supposed to be, and it's not beyond destiny, it's not twisted fate, it's literally fate and destiny. It's 100
Sneaky, that's too hard for them to understand.
Yeah, I know. 190 chapters, 857,000 words, 200 favorites.
Of course, that's 200.
Damn.
That's rough.
That's rough, man. You almost have more chapters than favorites, bro. That's rough.
That's rough, buddy.
You've been writing for 3 years. I mean, it's a good word count for 3 years. Don't get me wrong. That's a fantastic word count for 3 years.
Yes.
But you chose the wrong section, and you have a bunch of fucking OCs showing up in this story, so I don't know, man. Also, I'm pretty sure you used that porn program to make that cover.
Yes, I think so.
Porn program?
Yeah, it's this like cheap-ass CGI program that apparently everyone uses for porn.
Oh, is it Powser?
Whatever, I don't fucking know. I'm able to recognize it really easily because of James D. Fox went around trying to charge people money to make their characters in that program as like cover art for their stories.
All the characters look kind of like Skyrim characters.
No, they look like worse. It's like cheap CGI from like the Spy Kids era.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember its name right now, but it's used in like every 3D fucking H game that Faceless and the Big Girls probably play.
Yeah, that's where I recognize it from. Because those images leak.
I'm sorry, what kind of fucking crossover is this? Prototyping Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Oh, no.
The Pixar film about emotions.
Oh,
I know that. What is this?
Sorry, what in the fuck?
Okay, it's gonna be the prototype person has to talk to all the people they ate.
He doesn't have to do that. He can ignore them.
Hellsinger Bridge did it better.
But then the plot wouldn't happen.
You know, he
Hellsing
has to.
Ultimate
No,
Abridged did it better.
That's a shame. That's an actual thing in the game, then, isn't it?
he has to. When he. So according to the summary, whenever he eats people, he needs to get their memories, and to get to their memories, he needs to talk to the emotion characters.
Oh, that's fucking dumb.
Why would he have to do that?
Hellsinger Bridge. Hellsing
He'll
Ultimate
just eat,
Abridged
he'll
did it
just eat
better.
them too.
Yeah, Hellsing Abridged. The ending.
Yeah, Hellsing Ultimate Abridged did it better with God.
That was a funny ending. I had to sort every soul till I got to that cat. But hey, on the upside, I'm unkillable now.
Yep.
You're the footprints, the handprints.
And of course, and then when he got to himself, it took like another 10 years.
Ah, yes. Am I a bad person?
Yes.
Well, let's start with your childhood.
And the
Abridged did
aristocrats.
so well. Oh god. I'm gonna fucking post that if you guys want to read it, but I'm not gonna be reading it.
Glad that
Maybe
was
I'll read-
completed when it was, because oh boy, it would not have existed if it came out.
Oh
now.
no.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
no,
I'll really
100% no.
Maybe I'll rewatch Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. That was fun.
You should.
It was great.
It was good. Yeah.
Oh, I've watched it multiple times. I just thought I'd watch it now again in 2024.
Yeah, time for
But that's
another
what I'm saying.
rewatch.
Like,
Who just took a hit of fucking coke?
That would be
That sounds
Oh,
so
my ears.
Yeah,
What? What did I do?
what?
took a hit of cocaine.
Who just?
Who's never
Oh, actually, it was Atin. My bad. It was Atin.
Ah,
Yeah.
because someone just
you
did the
breathed
biggest
too hard.
snort into my ear. Just
That
did the
was
biggest
Atin, yeah.
snort.
Ran a full line
Atin just
there.
really hit that line hard.
That's where it's come from.
You're
That's
supposed to
what-
breathe
that'd be
after
what
you
kills
do
them.
that, Atin.
Bro, that sniff was so big. I thought you were related to the salamander.
Salamander.
No, get in here.
Salomancy.
It's funny because I was just doing the opposite. I apologize. I thought I'd hit the mute button for my microphone, and I obviously did not.
No, you did not.
I appreciate you muting yourself before you do a line.
It's very much appreciated.
Stream.
Oh,
The Murderess and Her Brain by Rat
I
Crime.
just want to say, real quick,
Yeah.
I fucking hate living in Chicago
Yeah,
Yeah.
because yesterday
yeah.
it was 60 degrees. This
Yeah.
afternoon it was 60 degrees. There's now about a half inch of snow on the ground.
That sounds like
Oh,
Australia right now. It's
Oh, except
40 degrees Celsius, and then yesterday and today is 20.
yeah,
It's
except
literally half.
except I want to say it's funny. Except the only thing that's not covered in snow right now is the driveways and sidewalks because those are still too hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, it's like a free, dusting service. I'm sure you know all about dust. The Murderess and Her Brain. Roman Torchwick and Beacon Academy fell on the same day. Thus, when one's headmaster reincarnates as the other's partner...
What?
Huh?
Oh,
Paul.
They agree
does that
on
get
one thing.
Dr. Leo?
Cinderfall must pay, except they find themselves disagreeing on everything else.
Ozpin reincarnates as Neo's partner.
No, Ozpin reincarnates as Neo.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
That is
Oh.
that is
That's gotta be
fucked.
what's happening, right?
That is what's happening.
That is fucked up.
To Neo, her
Oh.
brain is trying to tie down her hands. To Ozpin, his host is a bloodthirsty murderess. And to both, they're starting to
Huh?
rub off on
Something
each
is
other.
happening. Hazel Child Beater has evolved into Hazel Woman Beater.
He's a
Oh.
wife beater. Oh, here comes the steel chair.
You know, I'd love an official answer now to the question: what happens if Ozpin reincarnates into Hazel?
You know, here's the thing. I can see Hazel having strong enough force of will to mentally beat Ozpin down and just put him in a box.
Salem.
Hazel with a steel chair.
Salem. Ozpin has ended up in my mind.
No,
Ozma.
no, the best fucking.
Do you have a spell to get me into my mind?
No,
with
no,
this
the
steel
best
chair?
way. No. The best way to handle that is Salem. I'm currently fighting Ozpin in my mind. I'm sure you are, sweetie. That's nice.
No, no.
No, I am fighting Ozpin in my mind. Okay, Hazel, that's good. Why don't you go, kill some children or something?
Ozpin has taken over my left fist.
He starts punching himself.
In the face with a chair.
I'll get you,
No,
Ozpin!
it's like-
Starts punching himself.
No.
in the head.
No. Just goes, Ozpin's taken over my left hand. Salem just smells something. Wait, that's Ozpin's preferred coffee.
No.
Ozpin has taken over my left hand. My stranger technique has been enhanced.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
no.
Oh god. Anyway, so yeah, they rub off on each other, and I guess that is a euphemism
Oh,
for
no,
Ozpin
Ozpin, no. She's a
masturbating
child.
as Neo.
Nani?
Scarred
Why is she a
steps.
child?
Monsters aren't born; they are made. That's patently false.
Unless you're talking about the Catan, in which case they're both born and made.
Such was it with Adam Taurus, a full backstory of notorious villain. He's not notorious. He's not really even a villain. He's the antagonist at best. Like,
He's a whiny little bitch boy.
yeah, he's kind of just a whiny little bitch boy. Also, again, that fucking scar over his eyes. You need a custom eye brand that is fit specifically for his skull to not, kill him and burn his eye out and turn it into a liquefied mess.
Didn't they say that that happened to him in his childhood? It's like, wow, that scar grew super well alongside him.
Yeah, not only that, it also never healed, apparently.
He kept picking at it.
Fun fact, burn scars do heal. They look super fucked
fun
up.
fact.
So you just look waxy.
Fun
Yeah,
fact,
it
Blake
can
never
also
saw Adam without
depends
his
on the
mask, so she
severity
doesn't
of
realize
it.
they were self-inflicted.
Well, no. Burn scars heal. They'll look super fucked
Yes.
up if it's like a really bad burn scar. But burn scars heal.
They heal.
Like, they don't
Yes.
sit there and be still red and inflamed, 20 years later. Like, that's not how burn scars work.
Mm-hmm.
But how will they know it's from a burn if it's not red, Sneaky?
Because I'm about to, what's the... Oh, Max,
Commit a war crime?
No, well, yes, but Max, what's the word for, people who can't understand an object if it's no longer there?
Object permanence?
Object permanence, yeah. I'm about to inflict some object permanence on some of them fucking people down there at Rooster
Are you
Teeth.
sure you should be inflicting object permanence, seeing as you sometimes don't have it?
I have object permanence, fuck you.
Your Primal Beast gameplay says otherwise.
My what?
Oh, those are bold words coming from nose hair.
My what says otherwise?
You heard me.
No, I actually didn't. You fucking slurred it, and you're like, otherwise. I'm just sitting here like, I have no fucking idea what you just said. Okay, Jesse?
The fuck?
Your something gameplay says otherwise.
Yeah.
Your base something, I think.
He was
Primal
insulting
Beast,
your
yeah.
ability to play Primal Beast.
No, I wasn't insulting his ability to play Primal Beast. I was insulting his ability to play Primal Beast without, losing track of where he was.
I don't lose track of where I am. What the fuck are you smoking?
Bro, you press W and then sometimes forget where you are.
Huh?
Whatever. Continue the story.
The Grimling by Ruby, Greenlight Volume 10.
No.
Is that one of Rooster Teeth's accounts?
Possibly.
Selene, the only child of Salem.
Salem's had multiple children, they just haven't lived.
No, they all lived. They just got killed. Much
They
different.
By mom, no less.
By mom, yeah.
Well, they got caught in the crossfire between mom and dad.
Well, not so much caught in the crossfire. She shot a death beam at him, and he shot a death beam at her. And then their death beams touched tips, and then that exploded, killing the kids.
I think it is worth pointing out she did shoot first, right at the kids.
She did shoot first, yeah. So, until an act of quiet rebellion caused her to cross paths with a embittered young huntsman, their growing relationship risked not only her mother's wrath, but the lives of anyone Salem saw as a threat to her safety. Salem's trying to kill humanity in the first place, slowly, but she is trying to kill humanity.
I feel like this is a shitty ripoff of Raven Dagger's Taylor gets grimified and ends up as Salem's kid.
It is. It's also a shitty ripoff of White Sheep by Core. It's also a shitty ripoff of Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, of course.
Because the author ends with, can they find a way to survive and defuse an age-long civil war between two cursed immortals? So the two families. Acolaire was his best MC. Who was that? Was that
That was the Grim kid one. The Taylor is Grim girl, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Raven's Dagger. It's unfortunate,
Some of Raven's Dagger stuff isn't awful.
Yeah.
A lot of it isn't actually.
Even
what?
Some of the stuff
it's
they
like
put
a 7
on
out of 10.
Amazon. You know what? At least it's coherent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. His more original stuff it's all right. It's not something I would spend money on. So I didn't.
No. Smart.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does a decent job with the themes, the premise, the explanations, and world building and all that. Especially the world building. But it's just, I'm not super interested in a lot of the new shit these days, because a lot of the new shit these days isn't really original with what it's trying to do. And yes,
well,
let me be clear here. I understand originality is a very nebulous term to use because everything's taking inspiration from everything else. So when I say original, I mean I think Harry Dresden was cool. It was to me, a novel take on modern wizardry and how it interacts with technology and how it interacts with the modern world. I thought that was cool. If someone else comes out with a story about modern day wizards and, basically pulls from Harry Dresden, even if it isn't the same world and maybe they have different mechanics, but, still, the electronics still pop off, and I would be like, all right, maybe it's a good story. I would just not be as interested in it as I would be in Harry Dresden.
Yeah.
That's why I liked Beware of Chicken. It was a novel take on the wushu genre. And now a lot of stuff is coming out trying to be more Beware of Chicken. And don't get me wrong, quite a bit of it's pretty good. I am reading one story called Ave Jianje, or whatever it's called, and it's supposed to translate to a mild wushu story or something like that, right? And it parodies wushu in a different direction than Beware of Chicken did, and it does a really good job of including a lot of the standard wushu typecasting, but it makes you actually give a shit about the characters. And it never gets like too excessive with anything it does, and it never really like it never pulls wild shit out of its ass. It always builds up to a lot of the events that occur. Like, yeah, suddenly there'll be a surprise attack, but it won't be like, oh, the surprise attack grants him superpowers, and because he's the main character, he like unlocks some sort of hidden poison fist of the soul punch that allows him to defeat the next bad guy. It's like, no, actually, the surprise attack happens, his mentor dies, and he has to run away with a crippled wushu system because he tried to fight and then got fucked up for it. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So we're kind of like being real here. Got it. And it's a good take. I like it. But you can only read so many of that. Like, you know, like the era of SAO and Log Horizon and Dot Hack, and where they all tried to be like, oh, you know, video game in real life, and it all sort of worked, but they were all trying to crib from each other, and it all kind of crashed and burned in the end. You can take inspiration, but if you're going to try and be original, you need to frame things differently. And that's really hard these days because there's a lot more published works out there. There's a lot more original works out there. And I get it. I understand. It's a lot harder. So that's why I tend to stick to fan fiction even now, even though I do read occasionally, you know, stuff from Royal Road and you know, original stuff. But none of that stuff's gonna get fan fiction. Like even if some of these books are published, like Beware of Chicken, it's a published book now. It's not gonna get fan fiction. Yeah, it's got a following, enough of a following for the dude to make a living off writing it and publishing it. But it's not gonna get fan fiction. No one fucking reads anymore. There's no fandoms appearing around books anymore. And any game that comes out these days, I mean, the story's usually pretty mediocre, or it's a sequel to a previous game that already had an established story.
Or it's just the same old shit repeated.
Yeah. And so those aren't getting really much fandoms around them anymore. And so it's just like, yeah, you're a copy of something else. And you're probably going to do it worse. And it's probably going to be, you know, you're as an author probably not going to understand what made the original thing good. Borderlands. And you're going to be basically cribbing notes, but you're not going to understand like Romeo and Juliet. The reason why Romeo and Juliet is good is because it speaks to a fantasy that a lot of young teenagers have about love.
Yes.
But on both sides, you know, the girl's like, oh, I can fix him and he's so special, and the guy is like, I can save our families and get the girl and be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And so it speaks to both sides, but not only that, it does it in a way that makes it easily adaptable to other settings, to other ways of retelling that premise. So, I mean, yeah, Romeo and Juliet Hood Edition, which I think is fucking amazing, by the way.
That was a pretty good film, honestly.
Oh.
But you can also see the core of Romeo and Juliet in a lot of YA stories, in a lot of romance action leaning stories. And it's because it's a good core. But, you know, Tolkien set the stage for a lot of species, but it doesn't make for a good core of world. It's a very unreplicatable world. It's very unique in its existence, and because of its unique existence in terms of world building, you really can only take from it elves, orcs, goblins, magic blades, wizards.
Mm-hmm.
You can't actually take the core themes of Tolkien's works and try and make them again. It just doesn't work. Witcher is about it's a medieval fantasy story in where you have these hunters of the Polish supernatural forces. Cool. Not replicatable. Yes, you can replicate it in what if we have a game about medieval Germany and you hunt supernatural forces? It's like, yeah, but then you're not really going to be stealing any of the themes. You're just stealing the premise at that point, and the premise is so generic that you're not really stealing it.
Sword and magic hunts monsters.
Yeah, a guy with sword and magic hunts monsters. Yeah.
It's like 8:30. Let's go to bed.
All right. How about we do this one? Fighting Rose.
Oh Jesus.
What the fuck is what is this? Ruby Rose, weapons geek, naive heroine, and lovers of all things cookie-like, and wielder of a really big scythe. But what if, as a child, she was inspired by someone other than Crow? Putting that scythe down, she does push-ups and raises her fists, for there's no weapon deadlier than your body and soul. Rise and bloom, the Fighting Rose. A martial arts-centric Ruby. Okay. And then the author decides, hey, you know what? I've been writing too good of a summary so far. Let me fuck it up. Multi-crossover AU.
Fuck.
Hey, look, I was all here for martial arts Ruby using her fucking Rose powers to teleport behind you and punch you 96 times in the kidney.
No, we don't get that.
Listen. I was totally on board with Ruby, the disciple of the Ruby, the undefeated of the East. Like, come on.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Condiment here.
Shining finger.
Shining.
At 10 years old, one thing was certain about Ruby Rose. The girl was a dreamer. She constantly dreamed about being able to become a huntress, a hero who banished the darkness and saved innocence. Granted, her outlook on the profession was nothing short of rose-tinted. But a child could dream, right? It wouldn't be long before she was allowed into junior hunter training school within the next 3 years, and she couldn't wait. Well, that was a bit of a lie. Despite being a child, she was pretty aware it would take some time for her to prepare to become super cool and invincible. She wanted to start somewhere, and frankly, she had no clue where to start preparing. Uncle Crow has a super awesome weapon, but I'm small right now. Maybe if I drink enough milk, I'll become big and strong, and nobody can beat me. Maybe. That's still a lot of milk. She pouted, frustrated at the idea of her body being too tiny to wield something too big. A bright and cheerful Saturday, she was relatively lazy on this occasion, though that was quickly getting to the young child being lazy. Okay, fair enough. Her restlessness growing. She huffed and hopped off the couch, idly wandering over to the kitchen. Finding nothing of interest there, she aside from a napping Zue, she hummed with the skipped outside to catch a breath of fresh air and maybe something to entertain herself with. She saw a flash of motion out of the corner of her eye, a streak of yellow and gold. Curious, she quickly walked around to the back of the house and saw her older sister, Yang Xiaolong, practicing in the backyard. Being 12 years old, she was on her way to go to Signal Academy with a strong aura and an even stronger desire for adventure. "Oh, hey, sis," the blonde called out cheerily. "Hey, Yang, training again?" "Yep, I can't wait to go to Signal," she cheered, wiping some sweat from her brow. "Gotta make sure I'm in top condition." Ruby was just about to leave and find something else to do rather than distract Yang, only to realize there was literally nothing else to do. "Hey, sis, is it okay if I watch you?" she asked, "'cause I'm bored." Also, I have never heard siblings refer to each other as sis and sis and sis and bro, like, more than once in the conversation.
No.
I grew up only calling my sister sis. I don't even call her by her own name.
Yeah, sure, but do you call her sis in every single sentence you say to her?
No, I just go, "Hey sis," and then I have a conversation.
Yeah, that's my point. Is that's what I do with my siblings as well. Is I go, "Hey, what's up?" Or if I even say sis in the first place, I'll say, "Hey sis, hey bro, what's up?" And then we'll just talk.
The classic, "What's up, fucker?"
Yes, or "What's up, fucker?" Or "What's up, you elephant foot?" As I call my little brother. But I don't refer to her as sis or bro in every single fucking sentence I'm saying. But they are here.
Yeah. I have called my sibling bro, but
No problem. Just watch out if my attacks get too wide, Yang laughed. Before going back to her training, Ruby decided to sit down on the tree stump and watch, swinging her legs idly as she relaxed. Yang was quick to focus again, bringing her hands up as she bounced on her toes. Something about the silence and the concentrated look on Yang's face made Ruby sit up a little bit straighter. She caught glimpses of Yang training before, but she never stayed. This was the first time she had ever seen her normally loud sister so quiet and focused. Yang suddenly burst into motion, shooting her left hand out with speed Ruby could not follow, her eyes going wide. Her feet bounced off the floor as her aura appeared to roar around her, the air heating up as she seemed to dance, her left hand constantly shooting out like a bullet. The little sibling's jaw dropped open as Yang leapt into the air, her right foot swinging through the air like a hammer. As soon as she landed, she spun on her left foot and let her left foot follow up with a spinning hook kick, this one much lighter and faster. She still spun her right and she spun her right and firing out to chop down. Okay. So, I mean, like, the author was doing an okay job so far, but they're clearly kind of tripping on themselves trying to describe what's going on. I understand generally what they're trying to do, but, still she spun her right and firing out to chop down. You wouldn't want to do a chop if you're spinning.
No, you could do a horizontal, like a knife hand or ridge hand strike, something like that.
Yeah, which is probably what this person wants, but has no idea to describe it because they're an idiot.
Yeah, but I still can't. I still can't imagine spinning would be conducive to precision aiming with a chop.
Well, okay, so the way he describes it, she kicks once, spins around, kicks again. At that point, at the very minimum, her right arm is still in a position to bring it up and do a chop at somebody's neck or face area. Yeah, it's feasible.
Yeah, but
I've actually
she's chopping
seen like
down. That's what I'm saying, though. But she's chopping down. She's not chopping horizontally or up. She's chopping down.
Yeah, they're completely fucking that part up.
Yeah, I don't know. She also... Is she training to fight other people? Because I'm not so sure a hand chop is going to do much damage to it.
I'm going to kick the Grim in its dick. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That does work in canon.
Why does that
I don't know.
Canon?
Because she kicked it hard enough to kill it.
Okay, well, that's fair.
She was using aura.
She moved from one attack to the next, sometimes slipping and falling, much to her frustration, but she was quick to get up and try again. Yang went for another 20 minutes before she finally tapped out, her hands on her knees as she took deep, huffing breaths. It was only after she had recovered somewhat that she remembered that Ruby was watching her. The girl in red sat there, jaw dropped on the floor as her eyes were practically shining. Yang, that was, I know, that was sloppy of me. Yang, that was so cool, Ruby squealed, surprising Yang. You were like whoosh, and your hands were like fish, and your legs were like womb.
At least they didn't make it some weird Yang Ruby thing.
Yeah. I didn't know you could do all that without weapons. The elder sibling laughed, patting Ruby on the head with a beaming grin. Honestly, I think you could keep the quirky weapon-obsessed nature with Ruby, but having her be like this super martial arts champion that actually just knows about every weapon so she can counter them better.
So, Ranma.
Yes. I like Ranma. Sue me.
Hey, Ranma, how do you counter a gun?
Actually, Ranma does have a counter for that.
You dodge and throw something at it.
I am not dodging the bullet. I am dodging you, and your aim is shit.
Yes,
exactly.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Ranma meets fucking, goddamn, what's his name? Shit, Max, help me out here. Sal protagonist.
Kirito.
Kirito. Yeah, Ranma meets Kirito. Kirito. You just gotta predict the prediction line of where the bullet's gonna be and dodge that. Ranma. You don't say.
To be fair, Ranma would just look at him and be like, finally, someone who gets it.
Someone who gets it. Just predict where the gun's gonna go. Obviously. Fucking predict the prediction line.
Yeah.
I think what makes that moment so gold is the fact that they make the character that's with him look at him like he's fucking stupid. Like, did you really just say that?
Yeah. And everyone else around him is looking at him like, you're actually insane.
And yet.
Yes, and yet. Here's your present. It's a birthday grenade.
That was a great moment. Shion was a great addition to the cast.
Fucking sets off thermal detonator, hugs it to him. The animation on that was fucking god tier. Of Kirito's face just being like, oh my fucking...
You bitch!
Oh, yeah, no, Shion is top grade. Honestly, there's a lot about the GGO section that I liked.
SAO has solid moments, it's just the solid moments aren't
connected.
Moments.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hand-to-hand combat, Ruby, way before weapons were made. All we had were our hands and feet, yet we still knew about the killing power of rock and bone.
It's not true. We picked up rocks long before we figured out how to kick good.
Killing power of rock and roll.
Actually, this is a true statement, as we did start throwing shit long before we started fighting. Like, genuine fighting. Like, yeah, we beat fists on each other, but like
martial arts.
We evolved to throw before we evolved to throw hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, we got damn good at throwing hands.
But we got better at throwing.
Throwing rocks and spears.
Oh, are you a longbowman? Absolutely muscular left hand. How did you know? We make the strongest weapons of them all. That is patently false. The body is very fleshy and weak, and I'm sure if Infant was here, he would go on a rant about the frailty of flesh.
The surety of steel.
To
the weakness of the
day,
flesh.
My favorite explanation for why a character refuses to use long-range weaponry is that they don't have to reload their fist.
Yes.
That's still so fucking dumb though, because
Like,
your fist can't reach out and touch someone 100 yards away.
It can if you cast vacuum palm.
This is a Shonen Gundam show. You absolutely can.
Also, Max, remember that time you had to reload our axe?
That was not the fist, though. That was an axe.
Don't worry, I had to reload my axe. What do you mean, reload your axe?
Sneaky's
You heard him.
introduction to DayZ was interesting. It's like, what do you mean you got to reload the axe? As I'm trying to kill him because I have no morphine to pick him up because a zombie broke his leg when I finally found him.
Max, please help me. I can only help you one way, Sneaky. Kills him.
Oh god.
I had to force respawn him.
Both my legs broken. I was bleeding out with an infection.
We were both on fresh spawns as well, so all I had was an axe and a can of beans.
He had beans. Anyway.
Apparently they've actually been adding stuff to the standalone.
Yes, apparently.
The last, few years. It's a shame that happened way too late.
Yes.
They lost their
entire audience, yeah.
Because apparently the dude that ran it has a severe case of development ADHD.
Yes. Someone did this whole multi-hour fucking, I think it was Soviet Womble actually. Did
it was Womble. Womble had a whole fucking
3-part diatribe about why they fucked up the standalone, and what it effectively comes down to is there's 3 types of DayZ, and they picked little bits and pieces from all 3 parts and then didn't mesh them together at all, and then didn't also make a new version of DayZ really, and so it was just old DayZ with a bunch of other shit mashed into it with no real clear cohesion to it. And I was like, oh.
And honestly, all they needed to do was literally just copy the original mod and make it run better.
But that's the problem,
happy.
Max. There were 3 different versions of DayZ that were extraordinarily popular.
And their publishing company...
I have no idea about the other 2 versions then.
Yeah, basically, the publishing company wanted them to include all the popular bits from the other 2 versions of DayZ so they could reach the mythical wider audience. And then they fucked it up.
Your games are already niche as is. There's not much of a wider audience.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, Arma devs. You don't have that big of an audience.
Anyway, the young child digested this information silent for a moment as she considered the possibilities. Weapons were pretty cool. You are correct. Swords that could transform into scythes, shields that could become ranged firearms, both cringe options. But after all, someone was behind those weapons, right? Those swords didn't swing themselves, after all. Hey, Yang.
You know what? Great shield with a cannon. That would be fun.
How would that work?
Oh, there's just a cannon strapped to the inside of a tower shield.
Strapped to the outside of the tower
and
shield.
then pull the trigger.
No, just strap to the inside. Well, actually, no, strap. You know what? We'll strap 2 to the outside.
Brilliant.
One on either side.
Yeah, one on either side.
I was thinking of.
I don't know how you're gonna. I don't know how you're gonna brace for when you want to fire the cannons.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Yeah.
The bottom has spikes that you plant in the ground, right? The actual cannon part is on your side on the back, with the barrel in the middle of the shield. You point the shield at the enemy, hold on to the cannon, and boom.
Yeah, but that's structurally not sound. That place is
Ruby. Mecha Shift. It's Ruby.
I'm aware we're going to be effectively doing hand wavy and magic to make the weapon work, but I mean specifically in terms of using it as a weapon, it's not a sound way of doing it because a great shield / tower shield would obstruct your view, of whatever you're aiming the cannon at.
Mouse slot.
Then just carry on a fucking cannon. Like,
it's a cannon / sledgehammer / great shield.
Where the fuck does the sledgehammer factor in?
You're just making this so much worse, even for me. Yeah, I'm all about stupid ideas.
Like, if anything, if you really want to turn the Great Shield into some sort of explosive device, I would think it'd be better to have, like, basically a sort of a Cardin-style dust gem slot on the front of it, where basically you can bash people with the shield and it explodes with that element.
Yeah, but that makes too much sense.
We're just going to give it reactive armor.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Yes.
It's way cooler than a cannon.
You know, it did work for Sundowner and Revengeance.
And then, okay, yeah, and then on top of that, you can fucking do some dust magic or whatever and make a fucking fireball or icicle shoot out of it.
But that's Cardin's gimmick. You can't give that to somebody else.
Absolutely can.
Says RT.
Watch us!
Yeah, God forbid that they let anyone else use that weapon type. But anyway, yeah.
If I gave enough, you could absolutely make a design for it, but I don't give that much of a shit to think that hard on it. Not this late at night after a work shift.
Yeah.
Oof.
Hey Yang, can you teach me? Yang's eyebrows shot up in surprise. I want to learn how to fight like that. The blonde inwardly squealed at the thought of helping her little sister become a badass before she nodded, eager to start. Sure thing, sis. I mean, since we're just starting off, we're gonna have to take our time, okay? The young girl pouted. She wanted to flip and hit things with her feet and hands, but she conceded, nodding. All right, Ruby, the first thing you need to learn is how to make a fist. Again, this is another thing that really throws me in a lot of books and TV shows where, like, oh, you gotta learn how to make a fist, and I'm like, do people not instinctually know how to make a fist?
Some people put the thumb under their fingers. Some people put the thumb under their fingers. They don't.
Yeah,
but that doesn't sound like. Do people not instinctually know?
That's uncomfortable as fuck. Though.
Yeah, like
lots of people don't know.
No one ever showed me how to make a fist. It's just the first time I wanted to punch something, I just fucking made a normal fist and punched something.
I think it's worth noting.
And some people don't know that.
Most people come out of the womb making a proper fist.
So, most people are retarded, though.
Can't say you're wrong because I don't have any statistics in front of me, but
not too far off.
I don't get, like, it's just.
Yeah, I never got this whole.
One way feels natural, the other way is uncomfortable as fuck.
Yeah, I never got that whole thing. I never understood that whole, like, moment in all these TV shows. They're like, oh, this is how you make a fist. It's like, yeah, duh.
Some people make a fist with the thumb jutting out like you're making a thumbs up.
Again, that makes no fucking sense. Why?
I should only say that if your plan is to jab the thumb into something.
Yeah.
Yes.
But speaking of, that's now a fucking finisher on Dying Light 2.
Ew.
You sucker punch someone with your thumb out, and then you jam your thumb into their eye and kill them.
Oh.
No, stop.
Chunky.
The fucking... They went all out on the finishers for Dying Light 2. Some of them are fucking brutal. It's good.
You don't say.
I love it. They also added pole arms. You now can have your spears. Press your fingers at the top of your palm, then squeeze, copy the motion, fold your thumb over your fingers. The strange feeling welled up inside her chest looking at her fist. She felt the need to use her fist.
Ruby, no, that's your sister.
Ruby, no, don't fist your sister.
Thanks.
Don't be a sister fister.
To be fair, though, Yang, if there's anyone you could have chosen to punch, Yang's a pretty good choice.
Making a fist causes the instinctual monkey genes to activate in your brain.
Ook.
Punch.
It literally does. Activates monkey brain.
Time for violence.
I have made the fist. Therefore, I must use the
Something
fist.
must be punched.
I unga, therefore I bunga.
Indeed.
Oh, you're a Barbados player.
Indeed. The hand is really
That's
cool
a joke
tool
that pretty much only
anyone
Max
can
is gonna get.
use. Yang said, her voice a bit stern, but it's also a weapon. You can hurt other things and yourself if you don't know how to use it properly. Which, that's actually... So, I'm going to change it again. In Kenshi, having a low martial arts skill and a low endurance skill actually causes you damage when you use your fist to punch people. And it actually damages the limb. And you actually take more damage if you punch someone who is wearing medium to heavy armor on the limb that you hit.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
And it's actually, well, no, like, do you know how few games actually include mechanics like that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's actually really funny to watch, though, because a lot of characters have a really low martial arts score, so if you steal all of their weapons in the nighttime and then try and fight them, they'll all try and punch you, and you can just stand there in heavy armor and watch as their arms start to break, and so they resort to start kicking you, and then their legs break, and then they're just flopping on the ground.
Woo.
Okay then.
It's actually a great way to train up your heavy armor and endurance skill.
Oh god.
I
love
needed to
Kenshi.
use you as reverse punching bags.
Yeah, I love Kenshi
Alright,
so
this
much.
has been great, but I think I'm gonna go.
Okay, goodbye.
Yes.
So,
Oh, it's 9:50.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
it's
gonna
getting about that
finish this
time.
up. Yep. So anyway, she makes a fist. Where should we start? How good's your flexibility? So anyway, we're gonna time skip all the way to the point where canon happens. So Ruby is in Dusk Till Dawn, listening to music as she looks around magazines, and then she has a pre-motion of danger as the thugs walk into the place. Blah 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 blah. Excuse me, she says. Everyone points their guns at her. Are you robbing this place? Not of money, no. We're just taking all the dust. Cheeky one, yes. Me and my fellow men are about to take a lot of dust for a science project. I'll just assume you are the leader behind all this. She crouches down and then does a whole really complex fight scene described in excruciating detail about how she kicks and punches everyone. And this is where the failing of written word really comes in. In these really intricately described fight scenes, I'm sorry, you're just punching them. You're just kicking them. It looks way cooler in even picture format. But it gets very tedious for me to read in written format.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's like, oh yeah, you got these crazy cool moves, but if every single fight scene is just paragraphs and paragraphs that can be summarized with, I punched him, he fell down, I kicked his leg out, and then I punched him harder, and now he's out. I'm sorry, you're losing me. So anyway, she disappears in a burst of wind and petals and teleports behind some guy and punches the shit out of him, uses some Street Fighter moves on him, teleports behind everyone else and starts punching and kicking all of them. And then he tries to do his cannon stuff and tries to run away, but then Ruby teleports to him. And then punches him with a blurring right roundhouse and punches him out of the building. Okay. So the author is doing, like I said, where Ruby studied weapons and fighting styles so she can dismantle the people that use them. Whereas now the Roman's getting ready to fight her, and the author has Ruby go into this monologue about how Roman's fighting style works and how she has to counter it. She counters it.
And then Roman shoots her in the teeth, please.
He tries. She dodges by teleporting.
I mean, that's fair. It's Ruby.
Yeah, so anyway, he just punches her a bunch, teleports, blah, blah, blah. And then Glinda shows up before blah, 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 and canon happens anyway. Except this time, instead, Ruby teleports up to him and Crescent Rose kicks him, which shoots a blade of red light at the bullhead, and Cinder is surprised and has to catch the blade of light with an aura-infused palm, which sent her skidding back as it cut her palm.
No.
No. I hope I managed to transfer Ruby's scythe-wielding style to a appropriate hand-to-hand combat style.
No.
What?
You didn't.
Huh?
How?
Okay. Like I said, like the author does a pretty decent job with the narrative and the characterization, and then just drops the ball sometimes really hard. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, it is 10 o'clock. It is time to go. But come back Tuesday, because there will always be more.